Good evening and welcome to this meeting of the Old Kings Highway Committee of the Town of Yarmouth, which is being held in accordance with Chapter 470 of the Acts of 1973 as amended at 7:15 p.m. on Monday, September 25th, 2023 at the Yarmouth Town Hall Hearing Room located at 1146 Route 28, South Yarmouth. Moreover, pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, considering certain COVID-19 measures, this meeting is being run in hybrid mode, which means by live participation, some Zoom participation, and there may be some phone participation as well. 9 new applications for certificates of appropriateness and 1 informal review will be heard this evening in the order listed on the agenda. Please be reminded that our committee's main purpose is to review items for appropriateness and setting, and it is the responsibility of the applicant to comply with the regulations of other town boards and departments, including building, conservation, engineering, health, zoning, and the sign inspector. You should know that there is a 10-day calendar day appeal period starting once a decision is filed with the town clerk. Any person aggrieved by our decision tonight can appeal to the Regional Commission of the Old Kings Highway Historic District. Our office administrator, Lisa Sherman, will be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding this process. So, as many of you know, but for the benefit of those who do not, our procedure here is to call the applications in order as listed on the agenda, have the applicants and or the applicants' representatives come to the table before us, speak into the microphone, and present their case without interruption from the committee or from members of the public. After which, the committee will be free to ask questions and make comments, and then after that, the public, especially abutters, but all interested members of the public are free to ask questions and make comments, and for that purpose, you will stand up to that podium and identify yourself by name and where you live and speak into that microphone. So the first item on the agenda tonight is 23-A110. It's to construct a 12 by 16 storage shed at 30 Clinton Drive. Richard Stone is the owner, and Pine Harbor Wood Products is the agent. And who do we have this evening?
We have Jamie McGrath on the
Jamie
Zoom.
McGrath.
Hey, Jamie,
Folks,
can you hear us?
me?
Yep.
And you're representing Pine Harbor, I assume, Jamie?
I'm Jamie McGrath from Pine Harbor, representing Mr. Stone, who's a new property owner there at 30 Clinton Drive.
Okay. Please present your application, Jamie.
Certainly. So we're proposing to build a 12 by 16 storage shed. It's going to be on the right side of a driveway. Mr. Stone has a few motorcycles that he would like to put in the storage building. So we're going to have a door and a couple of windows with shutters that match the house. Siding would be a clapboard type siding. It's a composite siding called Everlast. It's a direct, it matches exactly the color of the front of the house that he has. And then there would be a small overhead garage door on the left gable end facing the driveway that he'd be able to bring his motorcycles in. PVC trim, roofing that matches the house. It's going to go on a concrete slab foundation. And I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the committee?
Looks good to me.
Looks good to me. My only question is with the PVC trim, is that AZEK that you're using on that?
It is correct, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any comments or questions from abutters or other interested members of the public? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve item 23-A110.
A second.
It's been motioned and approved. I'll call the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And aye. Congratulations, Jamie. Good luck with your project. If you're going to make any
Very much.
changes, please let us know.
Indeed. Thank you. Have a good night.
something over.
Has to happen, at
It
least once.
What is this?
I brought that in. It's from when I used to,
Timer?
it's a pitch determiner. And our basement flooded. We're trying to get rid of some of the extraneous stuff.
Oh, you had that in your basement.
Well, I used to do solar evaluations.
Extraneous stuff, oh my God. it's-
The next item on the agenda is 23-A111, is to install 29 solar panels on the front and back roofs at 26 Stony Hill Drive. Evio,
Evilo. That's
thank you. Nimoff is the owner, and Skyline Solar is the agent. So, Evilo, tell
How
us
you
about
doing,
your
guys?
project.
so basically, I'm here for the second time.
Yeah, I thought so.
You remember?
Yeah.
But the difference is, I didn't know that the company that's supposed to install the solar panels includes a different paperwork
Oh,
to you guys.
okay.
So basically, the first time, they only said on the paperwork that they're gonna install 12.
Okay.
But I paid for 29, so that's their mistake.
Ooh,
They even show up at the house for installation, and they show up with 12 panels. And they asked me if I wanna install 12. I was like, okay, but, I mean, I paid for 29. Okay, so basically, they said I have to go back to town and ask for another permission to install 29 panels on my roof. That's why I'm here.
may I ask a question?
Sure. Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So Skyline, are they going to own your system and they're knocking down the cost of your electricity?
Say it again?
Will they own your solar system?
Yes, I'm doing a lease,
It's a lease.
basically.
Yeah, that's
For
what I
now, but
thought.
I have an option to buy it.
Yeah.
Or I have an option to move it somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, if I decide to get another property, or
Right,
I have it on a contract.
okay.
So they didn't install the 19?
Or
The 12.
yeah.
Oh,
No,
no, okay, good.
they offer me that, but I still have to pay for the 29.
Jeez, such a deal.
Yeah.
So just for the record and for clarification for the public, what was our determination previously on this application?
There's,
What did we vote for?
We approved
you
it.
say yes?
Approved it, that's
Yeah.
what I'm asking. Okay, so,
No,
just
12.
wanted to establish that. Any other questions from the committee or members of the public?
So I'm curious, the 12 that were previously approved, were those on the rear of the house? Because
Yeah.
there's 12 in the rear right now in the diagram.
Yeah.
So you want to add an additional 17 to the front?
Yeah. The difference is I never saw that map that you've been seeing,
Diagram that
the
showed it.
diagram. And you guys, just the only thing you says, okay, you can do it, you can install the solar panels on your roof. So I was like, wow, beautiful. So I said, thank you to you all, and I left.
There is a house around the corner from you on Matthews Lane with
Yeah.
solar panels on the front roof.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We approved.
yeah.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, I'll entertain a vote.
I move to approve 23-A111, solar panels on Stony Hill Drive.
Is there a
Can I-
sec?
Well, I want to make it, I'll second, but then I have a comment or
Okay.
question. Because you can have a conversation after you.
Yes, sure.
So on the front of the house, it looks like they're not in a rectangular configuration like we normally require. Is that an issue?
For us, is it
For
an
us.
issue for us? Not an issue for me. They're just trying to fit as many as they can.
So the question has to do with the array, the arrangement of the panels.
The arrangement with the panels? What about it?
Well, we generally like to see a nice, neat, symmetrical arrangement
Yeah, that is
wherever
gonna be,
possible.
it's gonna be like that for sure.
Does that satify your question, Cindy?
Well, if the
Doesn't
diagram
look-
doesn't show that.
It doesn't look like that.
No, it isn't. I mean, they'd have to come back and redesign if you want them symmetrical.
Is one of Matthews Lane symmetrical? I can't remember. I think it was.
I don't remember.
I think it was. I don't know. How important is that to the committee?
In this case, it's not very important to me, knowing the house itself, which doesn't call for the symmetry particularly. His house is on a kind of,
Is
is
there a-
tall and goes down.
Is there a practical reason for the asymmetry?
Looks like there's a skylight or something in the
They're
front
the one to
there.
design it.
Chimney in the way, I think.
I don't understand
Yeah,
that
the
much
front.
from solar
That's where the front is
technology.
right here.
I just made a contract and
Is
they're
there
the
a
one
chimney
to
in the
design
front
it.
of the house?
Edge, though, so this wouldn't be a chimney.
Didn't notice that.
And it may be because there's a cupola. It
Or
does say
maybe
chimney.
There's a horizontal one there instead of a vertical one because of the chimney.
And believe me, if they could do more, they would do more. So they're just trying to get, because this is a lease situation, the company wants to get as many solar panels on as they can, so.
Right. But
Um,
that's not what we're,
Oh, it is a chimney.
It is a chimney, yeah,
Yeah.
which is a surprise because it is on the front.
So the chimney is the reason for the asymmetry.
Right.
Do you understand what we're
Basically,
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah, I know. I understand now what you're talking about.
It's funny.
I wonder if the one panel that's sort of to the left of the chimney would that improve the array aesthetically
to
if
the
that
right a
were
little bit?
eliminated?
it looks like there's a horizontal one above the chimney, if I'm looking at it properly,
Yeah, there's like the
4 of them.
3 of them.
There's
Or
1, 2,
four.
3 vertical, and then 1 horizontal, then
Well, wait a minute, I think we're talking about two different things. Cindy, you
Actually,
talking
yeah, you
about the
should
front?
fold.
I'm talking about
array?
the front. So
Yeah.
there's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 that are, I'm gonna call vertical, and then 1 horizontal, because the chimney's in the way, and then 1 more vertical, so that's why that farthest left one
Actually, I think you
extends
should look
out.
at this one because you're just not, that's too faint for you to see it. There's 4 across the top.
Yep,
Yeah,
Right.
and then there's this one, and then there's,
so there's not a horizontal one here.
no.
This one sticks out a little bit beyond that, and that one, and so it's not really a rectangle.
I think that's because, again, of the, whatever the structure is that's being called a chimney. They had to kick it over a little bit.
Right. It's just not a rectangle, which is what we're, I mean, I don't know if that's required for all solar installations or just the ones that are,
Not even required, it's just part of our thought thinking is, do we like that better?
Looks like all the panels on both front and rear roofs are shifted to the right
There are trees.
with respect to the central axis of the roof.
there are trees on the left, you're saying?
Central
There are
axis,
trees in the back.
meaning front to back, left to right.
So it gets a little bit, there's more trees on his property, away from Matthews Lane and Stony Hill Drive. So they've moved, they have the array favoring the Matthews Lane, Stony Hill sides of the house because of the tree, the shadows, the shade, on the back. And on the front, which was the original one that we approved.
Yeah.
Now on the front, they have one panel that's, well, they have the horizontal panels, 4 of those across the top ridge line. Then they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and another 6. But the 6th panel on the bottom is kicked over.
Because of the chimney,
Yeah, or whatever it is.
chimney with a cricket.
Yeah.
The
It's probably
asymmetry-
is a cricket. It's a little entryway roof line that they had to get out of, they had to move that panel over to maintain that, the cricket, the roof line,
Yeah.
the entryway. I don't have a problem with the asymmetry, especially knowing his
With
house.
I don't have a problem with the asymmetry on the back because you don't see it.
No.
Back is symmetrical.
If the asymmetry on the front could be easily corrected, from my point of view, it would be desirable.
Right, I agree. When I was there, a neighbor approached me and asked me why I was looking at his house when I was looking at this house, and he said, I told him to send an email, but he said he didn't want to look at these solar panels. So there is some concern. But he didn't send anything in, so.
Well, we don't have the
Okay.
agent here, so. I don't think, in all fairness to you, Bob, is that they can't move the one panel to the right because there's a roof in the way.
I'm not sure we're
I guess they
talking,
could drop it.
I'm not sure we're talking about the same thing. My comment is restricted to the front roof
Understood.
specifically. And everything, the entire array is shifted to the right toward,
Towards the end of the eve.
so my question is, could it be symmetricized so that there's an equal let's talk about the horizontal row at the top. Starting there, could that row be shifted so that there's an equal amount of space between the left side of the top horizontal panel and the edge of the roof as there is between the right horizontal panel and the edge of the roof?
And I would go out on a limb and say the reason they are doing that, again, the same reason they did it on the back roof, they have trees across the back of the yard that will shade the module should you slide it over.
But how much energy loss are we really talking
We'd
about
have
to
bring
make that
them in, and
adjustment?
Depends on whether they're using string, or they're, to reach the inverter, or they have an inverter on each solar panel.
Well, I think it's a question for the installer.
Okay.
I
to
guess
find out if that could be done.
the only thing that I know for sure, they put it that way so they can run the system properly, because first of all, when it was 12, they show up with one pack of, like, for the electricity and, you know, all the wires, and probably because they adding up panels, they design it that way because it's gonna be easier for them to run all the wires, because we ended up 17 new panels.
I don't think that
So
answers the
you're
question.
That's speculation on your part. You don't know that that's the reason.
I spoke with them once after.
Did you
and
notice the asymmetry when,
I noticed a little bit, but I thought it's just normal. Like, that's the way the job's supposed to be done. That's the way it's supposed to be, the job's supposed to be done. Like, they're the specialist.
well, we have the option to table this application to get the answer from the installer as to whether the panels on the front roof could be made symmetrical. I understand the problem with the chimney, and presumably, he could verify that too, that that's there can't be a panel there. And that, so that,
I would agree with you.
I have less of a problem with, I have a less of a problem with it being not centered on the roof than I do with the fact that it's not a rectangle. And I'm wondering if they move the
well, isn't that
vertical ones up.
sort of part and part, that's a similar,
It's, yeah,
another way of
it goes
stating
like
the same
this.
problem.
No, if it was just a rectangle, if it was shifted slightly right, I'd have less of a problem with it being a
You
rectangle.
don't want to lose these modules.
No, what I'm thinking is if the ones across up by the ridge line go across. If you move those to the bottom and push the other ones up, you could get 12 of them in a rectangle that's
that might work.
symmetrical.
Right.
And then put the horizontal ones below, however many it takes to continue the rectangle, so it's a true rectangle. Do you understand what I'm saying? Rather than being, it sort of
I
jogs.
don't know if you can get the
Yeah, I don't
four
know if you can.
horizontal
Maybe you
ones.
can get 3, but maybe, do they make smaller ones, or are they all the same size?
I don't know if you can get the four horizontal ones
Not sure what the
at
difference
the
is,
eve
if
of the
they're
roof
top or the bottom.
because of this chimney problem.
Well, but you could get 12 of them up, you could get 12 panels up at the ridge like they are in the rear roof, and then it'd be symmetrical rectangle.
centered.
Well, I don't care about the centered so much as the,
3, 4, 5.
I don't care, the centering part doesn't bother me as much as just the jagged.
This is that roof line here.
Yeah.
So if,
So you get rid of these and move them all up.
but you're not
right
gonna,
here. It's right
exactly, you're not gonna get this one. This is not the same space as this
is
and
little.
this.
Look how little that is.
It's bigger that there's shade to be considered too with that roof. It can't, the modules have to be far enough away from this ridge line that this ridge does not shade
This is
them.
not a ridge, this is a chimney with a
No,
tiny little
I don't
cricket.
believe it is. I think that's, whatever they've done here
It
is,
says
it's,
chimney.
I know, but it's his entry door.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
missed.
It's not a chimney?
No, there's no chimney there.
Huh,
It wasn't, yeah.
okay.
So
So it's
this
just like
is
a
not
little
the same
overhang over the
space.
front entry door,
Right.
basically.
This is not the same space as this and this. So you can't move this into that.
Well, I
and
understand what you're saying, but I
Okay.
don't know how far back that.
as much, this is pretty much it.
All right, well, anyway, so it seems to me that it's worth investigating whether a more felicitous arrangement could be achieved on the front roof. The back roof, if Ms. Argo's suggestion is that the arrangement is deliberately off-center because of shade, I'm not concerned about the back roof particularly. It's not, the public isn't going to see it. People driving down
Everybody's seeing it.
pardon me?
Everybody's seeing it.
Not in the back.
On the back.
You can't see the back from the street.
I cut off the trees.
Sorry?
I cut off the trees.
All right, well, are there any questions or
Not
comments?
helping yourself.
Are there any questions or comments from the public about this?
Not all the trees though, but most of them I did, because otherwise there's no.
Would someone like to
So-
make a motion on the committee?
Table it.
Make a motion to table?
Second.
All in favor of tabling the application, you understand why?
Because they're not symmetrical placed.
Yeah, I would like you to go back to the installer and ask him if he could make a more, think of the whole array as one unit and make it look like it belongs on that front
Like a
roof.
rectangle, like the back is a rectangle, because you've got 6, is a perfect rectangle. Try to get the front to look like a perfect rectangle, however they can.
He may say,
arrange
he
them
may
to do
have
that.
a reason why it can't be done, but we don't know what that reason is. So I think it's worth coming back, asking the question, consulting with him, telling him or that he can watch the video.
You can call in.
And,
You could call in,
yeah,
yeah. It doesn't have to be
Next
here.
meeting.
right.
Okay, so you want me to make an appointment with the installer to call in the next meeting?
Well, talk to him about if he
Or
can change the.
present us with a modification for the design, or present us with a compelling reason why it can't be redesigned. If it can't be redesigned, then I'm not going to prejudge how we would vote, but that would certainly influence our decision about the array if he says it can't be redesigned for reasons A, B, C, or whatever. But at this point, we're in the dark as to that, as to whether a more harmonious, consistent, symmetrical array could be achieved.
Okay, so when is the next meeting? Because there's been over a year and a half already, all that go back
Next
and
meeting is,
forth.
well,
2 weeks.
when could he come back before us, Lisa?
2 weeks, next meeting?
Yeah, the October 11th is the next
October
meeting.
11th.
Just make sure that the installer can be with you,
Would
because
be helpful.
they have
can
to
call
answer
in.
these questions.
Call it.
Yeah, it would be helpful had he been here or had he been available
It's Zoom.
via Zoom tonight.
All right.
Okay,
Lisa will help you.
right. Okay, so,
Seeing Lisa so many times that
You know, you're not the only
we're
one.
becoming a personal friends now.
It's good, she's a nice lady.
we have a motion to table. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye. Okay, so motion's carried 3-1. Good luck with your consultation. Okay.
I will.
2 weeks.
what you should do is, if your installer can come up with a new plan for what the front was gonna look like, send that to me. I have them send that to me, and I can put it with the packet, so these guys can have it for the next time.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
Like a redesign? Yeah, yeah, if they've got
Or if they
something, like
cannot be redesigned, just like make an explanation.
yeah, write a letter, or send me an email and tell me why. Yeah, yeah.
It's-
If he
it's
can't
a-
redesign, it'd be really helpful if he can zoom into the meeting so he can explain the reasons why.
Photographs.
Thank you.
We need photographs of the house too, okay?
I can bring those
Photographs
in.
from the street.
I'll bring those.
I don't have any.
I went by, so I can bring those.
Take pictures of everything.
I think we all went by.
With solar.
So the next item on the agenda is 23-A112. It's to install
Need
three.
to pass the paper around?
I'm sorry? No, there's no paperwork. We tabled it. So it's to install 3 signs for a new business at 125 Route 6A. URO Safe LLC is the owner, and Plymouth Sign Company is the agent. And who do we have this evening?
Good evening. I'm Mike Caggiano from Plymouth Sign Company.
Okay. Tell us about your application.
So we have 3 applications. So there's a freestanding sign and 2 building signs. Which one would you like me to start with?
Whatever you want.
Okay.
It's your pleasure. What would you like to start with?
Start with the freestanding sign.
All right.
So we're putting a 12-square-foot hand-carved sign out front by the entrance. It's going to be black with white carved letters, 23-karat gold insert line with the address also being in gold. On the building, the front of the building, we're going to be having, the building will have a painted black background. We're going to put individual cut white letters on the front over the main entrance, and they'll equal 10.5 square feet, which will be under the 12 square feet. And on the back of the building, we'll be doing the same thing, where the background will be black, but the lettering will be white cutout individual letters, and that will be 5 square feet total.
Okay.
Is that it?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Questions or comments from the committee?
Looks nice to me.
Looks good to me.
Yeah, no, looks fine.
It's great
Are
to know
these-
what's
Are
going
these
on.
signs lit up?
Yes, and that was the next thing I was going to bring up. Yes, the front sign will have small spotlights coming up that will be black. So they'll be really, you won't be able to see
Are they
them.
building mounted or ground mounted?
Ground mounted,
Okay.
yeah. And I have a,
Will it be only illuminated during the hours of operation?
I would say, I mean, usually it gets dark in the wintertime around 4. So it would probably, depends on them. Sometimes they like to keep them going until maybe like 9 or 10 at night. I'm not really sure how late they're open. But most businesses like,
That's the question I asked.
yeah.
The sign will be illuminated during the hours of operation.
Yes, it will.
In the morning,
It won't be 2 o'clock in the morning,
Okay.
no.
Right, there are abutters that are
any
private.
questions from the committee about the application?
No?
Any questions from abutters or other interested members of the public? Interesting, I thought there might be. Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve application 23-A112 for signs at URO Safe
Second.
LLC.
Thank you.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, and I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 And aye. Okay, so good luck with it. If you're going to make any changes, please let us know. And
Will do, thank you. And I just want to
So-
thank Lisa very much for all the help. She's
So
getting
I'd ask-
everything set up, and
Before you
it
leave,
made everything a lot easier for me. Thank you.
No problem.
before you leave, please sign this document. Okay. Okay,
Very good, thank you.
you're welcome.
You too.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks. The next item on the agenda is 23-A113 to construct a new single-family dwelling at 88 Merchant Avenue. Deborah Moran and Gary Maintanis are the owners, and do we have either Deborah or Gary present tonight?
Gary maintains.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I mispronounce your name?
Yeah, it's close enough. Not too worried about it.
All right. So, Gary.
Yes.
Tell us about your application.
Okay, this application is to build a dwelling at 88 Merchant Ave. It would be our second home on that development. As you can see to the plans and the information given, it will just be a standard, somewhat standard cape with a garage underneath. And all the colors pretty much, we're very close to what you have for guidelines.
Which one's your other one?
130 Merchant Ave, right behind it.
So the copy of the shingle color on my copy didn't come out very well. It looks like blue. It says Cape Cod gray. Is it gray or is it blue?
It's Cape Cod gray.
Is it actually a gray
yes,
color?
yes.
Like, it looks like a weathered shingle, sort of.
Wait, is that the door?
This is Cape Cod gray shingles, and it looks blue.
Oh, does it? Okay. Yeah.
That could be more of a gray.
It is gray. It is a,
Weathered shingle look.
it's actually like, it's a color from the manufacturers. So they have their grays and they have their whites, and yes, we're not gonna paint it ourselves, it's gonna be double dipped.
Great.
Somebody must have the
Okay,
chip
so
here.
I don't have any plans for a house here.
You don't have this?
You can share mine. I've seen mine. I've looked it over.
So the windows are all very similar, but there's slight difference in size. Is that why they're A through F different window descriptions?
The windows, unless they're possibly the bathroom windows and kitchen window, then that's obviously a little smaller.
Right, but you have like A, B, D, E, F. They all look similar, all 6/1, but they have slightly different dimensions,
Yes, yep.
different letters.
Yes, that's what it is. Let me see which ones would be. So as you see from at the front of the building, all the lower ones are A's, the upper ones are B's due to height.
Okay.
They're actually different size, a little bit different size walls, but I think due to the height of the construction on that part. And I didn't realize that actually the Fs are a little bit different also.
Yeah, they look like they're a little wider.
They are, yes, they are. I think Tom did that in order to get the same spacing in between, and it looks like it's almost the same, also from the corner boards.
Looks nice.
So I have a question.
Yes.
You've paid very careful attention to getting things in nice alignment. I'm a stickler for symmetry, as you probably could judge from one of the previous applications, except for the front dormer. And I'm wondering if it would be possible to shift that dormer. It has to be in alignment. You want it in alignment
There's a
with the
stairwell
rear
there, so
dormer.
keep that in mind. There's a stairwell there.
Pardon me?
There's a stairwell right there.
Can't be moved.
Which way, though? Do you want to move it to the right, Bob, so it's over the lower windows, or what were you thinking?
Well, I'm just looking at the alignment of the two windows on the dormers on the front with the windows below.
Yeah, I
You wanted to shift to the right, then?
did see that. I did see that also. That can easily be moved. I mean, the cheek size doesn't matter, but obviously we want to have something there.
Yes, right. No, I think you do want to have something.
Yeah, so, yeah, I could easily, I mean, that's not even
Okay,
a structural issue or anything like that. That
Good.
could easily be done.
yeah.
And they won't really line up over the entry door, huh?
You mean?
And,
If they, if
Well-
the dormer
He's
shifts to
talking-
the
you're looking at
right.
the wrong one. He's talking about,
Are you shifting the windows or the dormer, first of all?
talking- I'm-
You're talking about shifting the dormer over?
Shifting, well, yeah, if the whole thing could be shifted, you don't want to shift the windows because they're
And I would
they're symmetrical.
disagree.
Yeah,
You could
exactly.
maybe
Confused.
shift the windows on the
So,
first floor
suggestion is, then it's not
a little bit.
not-
Shift
then
the
the first-
dormer and then maybe shift the windows a little bit.
well, okay, so shift the windows over so that the center line hits the center line.
Yeah.
well, we'd have to, I mean, honestly, we'd have to move the whole dormer, which wouldn't, with the
Right.
doghouse, which wouldn't be a big deal.
I wouldn't mess with the first floor windows.
Yeah, I don't, the first floor windows, I agree,
They're all
because,
symmetrical right now.
yeah, because then they're all the same. But if we move the dormer over like you suggest, then that'll move the windows over a little bit. And
Right.
if we only move the windows, then we're gonna have a difference.
No, I'm, the entire array.
Yeah,
Boom,
Higher
just like
dormer
that.
to the right a
Yeah.
little bit, so that they're more centered over the lower windows.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
And if necessary, you could maybe adjust the windows below a little bit, maybe pull them a little closer together.
Do a little bit.
Yeah,
But
you
then
can
the-
do that.
We don't throw off the other ones, right?
Okay, then the first floor's not symmetrical though, Bob. I mean, right now, the first floor is symmetrical on either side of the front door.
it is.
If you shift the right windows, then it's not gonna be symmetrical with the left side.
You have to do both sides. I mean, it's a minor adjustment, and from what you're saying, you can do it.
It's not a big, yeah, I would suggest, like we all just said, if you move the ones on the right, then we'll just move the ones on the left a little bit.
Right, okay.
That works.
So you know where I'm coming from with this? Okay.
Because I actually did see that myself, and I just scratched my head, and I said, oh.
'Cause everything is so nicely arranged,
Yeah.
arranged, and it stood out.
Well, to honestly tell you the truth, I would have moved it most likely myself without saying anything anyways.
Minds.
Good builder.
You just, when you're on a job site, you do,
Yeah. You see it.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments from the committee? Any questions or comments from the public? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve 23-A113, new home.
As amended?
Okay, as amended.
Okay. Is there a second?
Do we have to write it up?
Second,
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Great.
all in favor?
aye.
Aye. Lisa, I guess we need a
We have to
form.
write up an amendment. It's going to take a little while, and my vice chairman isn't here tonight, so. Liz, how do you feel about this?
Oh, I'm fine, I'll write it up.
I love delegating.
He's gonna put dental trimming all over the
they're great.
front
They're
and
great.
circular staircase
Go right
coming
ahead.
down.
Do you know what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Good, okay, great.
all right.
So if you would come up and sign this, which basically says if you're going to make any changes other than the amendment, you'll let us know.
Oh, I'll be back here.
Okay.
As you can see, there's no deck, and that's because it's a disagreement.
That's the dark
I know, I want the,
You wanna look at mine?
well, yeah, do you have it?
Sure. Right here. I think you just want to see, shift the dormer to the right so it's
Well,
centered
I
over
wanna be
the
specific about which dormer, since I was
There's
confused.
only one.
Well, what do you call the
There.
front one?
Only one dormer.
There's a dormer in the front.
It's the front dormer.
Okay, well, let's, we're not shifting this, is what I'm saying.
The front dormer shifts to the right so that the windows are centered over the lower level.
Oh, right, because,
That's a different one.
sorry,
That's why you're confused.
that is totally why I'm getting confused.
Okay. So you're good?
I'm good?
Yeah.
Okay, we're all set with that?
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Oh, wait, does he have to sign this?
Does he have to sign the amendment?
Signed, oh, King Highways, signed owner, yeah.
Okay, wait.
Sorry. 1 minute, Jack.
All right, good. That will
I put an X where you have to sign it.
be able to leave early then, rather than waiting, so.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think you can be general. He understands what.
with giving your plans away.
Oh, you gave yours to John? You gave yours to John?
The next item on the agenda is 23-A114 to install 27 solar panels on the front and back roofs at 11 Ironwood Court on John Marhevka? Hope I've got that right, is the owner. Momentum Solar is the agent. Do we have either John or a representative from Momentum here tonight?
I don't see anybody.
Would appear that we do not. Do I have a motion to table to the end of the meeting?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And aye, so table to the end of the meeting.
The owner was outside when I drove by, when I visited. I know she is not coming, so.
Okay. So moving on, the next item on the agenda is 23-A115, to construct an addition to the left side, rear, and front porch at 309 Route 6A. Brian and Donna Fulton are the owners, and Thomas DeMeo are the builders. And who do we have this evening?
Good evening. My name is Bill O'Brien from Thomas DeMeo Builders, Donna Fulton.
Okay, tell us about your project.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. So we are looking to add an addition to the left side and the rear of the house. It'll be 12 by 49 along the left side, 8 by 16 in the back, and we are putting a 28 by 6 front porch on the existing dwelling. We have tried to put together a symmetrical plan for you.
Thank you.
A lot of thought was put into trying to take the existing structure and design something a little more traditional looking that fit into the guidelines of the historic district.
Is that it?
I'm open for questions.
Okay, any questions or comments from the committee on this project?
I would just note that it's fairly far off of Route 6A. It's not very visible from Route 6A. It's kind of got a more modern, when was the house built, 1958?
58, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Kind of more modern look than many of what we usually review. And I think they've done a good job of trying to preserve the house that we see now.
It's not only set back, it's high.
Yeah.
It's high.
So then the new roof is going to be higher, yes, than the existing roof?
The new roof is going to be higher, yes, ma'am. There's going to be an overlay.
How much higher, like 6 feet? Hard to tell from this, maybe not that much.
Did you not get plans for this either?
That's it.
Do we have Rick's package here?
No, he took it.
I can give you mine, John, again.
We can share, Liz.
Well,
Next to you.
here you go.
Scale on the plans is 1/4 inches a foot. It's about 4 feet higher than the existing roof line.
Okay.
an unusual little home. Big, gonna be a bigger home.
So the front elevation, I guess my only question has to do with the railing on the front deck.
Mhm.
What do you intend to make that out of?
So we have, I included in the specs, we had, going to do an Intex, it's a vinyl handrail, white, balusters, rails, 5.5 by 5.5 post sleeves.
What's it called, Intex?
Intex.
Not familiar with that. Is it shiny? Is it paintable? Or did you use that so you don't have to paint it?
You use that so you don't have to paint it. I wouldn't say it's shiny.
Is it similar to PVC or similar to AZEK or,
It's an AZEK product.
oh, it is, okay.
Is it the stuff that's solid all the way through? Rather, the AZAC is porous inside,
No, it's just like AZEK, it's porous on
it's
the
porous
inside.
inside, yeah.
So,
So do you intend to paint it or leave it natural?
natural. It comes white.
Are there issues with UV light with it, if you leave it natural? Like AZEK,
Never had a problem with it.
okay.
Well, the only problem is if you cut it, if you're making these balusters out of wider stock, you're gonna expose that edge that mildews. The balusters
All
come
the
that
balusters
size?
come pre-cut.
Okay.
Pre-cut,
that's- yeah,
pre-drilled. You put them together
Great,
and install them. So
okay.
There's no cutting of any balusters involved.
It happens sometimes.
I believe it does. It won't happen here, but I believe it has.
Okay.
What's underneath the deck?
So we were trying to come up with something a little decorative there. And so what we had proposed to do, you have the plan, correct?
Yeah.
So what we had wanted to do was, we wanted to put like 1x3 slats. We like that look better than
Lattice.
lattice. As you pointed out at the beginning of this hearing, it's 256 feet off the road and up in the air.
Right.
So it's not something that's gonna catch people's eye, but we didn't wanna have it open below. We're gonna have pressure-treated posts holding that porch up. So we wanted something that hid the posts, also complemented the porch.
Right, so 1x3 slats in white,
White,
and then
absolutely.
are they gonna be butted up to each other, there's gonna be spacing between them?
We had proposed spacing in between.
Like a slight space, or how, I'm just curious what the look's gonna be like.
1x3 is 2.5 inches wide,
Okay,
2.5 space, 2.5 space.
well, how big's the space?
That's what I'm saying, alternate, so you'd have a 2.5
Oh,
inch
I
space
see,
in between.
so alternating a board and then a 2.5-inch space, got it.
That was what was proposed.
Okay, I was just curious, because it's hard to tell from the drawing.
Understood, I'm sorry.
I guess, and if you don't like it, you can change it.
Come for
Fill 'em in,
modification,
fill 'em
right?
in with another, 2.5.
Oh, looks like,
Any other questions or comments from the committee?
Windows. What are the existing windows and how are the new windows? Are they going to be match the existing, or are they going to be different in terms of the 6 over, what do you have, 6 over
So
6?
there are no grills in the existing windows. I
Okay.
don't know if you did a site visit or not,
Yeah.
but.
Yeah, we drove by, it's hard to
Yeah,
stop
It's hard
and
to see,
on
I
6.
understand. So, I said at the beginning of this, we're trying to come up with a more traditional look. We proposed 6 over 6 grills in the windows.
Be more in keeping than the
The
present.
new windows are all Andersons. The existing windows are not Andersons, so I can't get 6, they're wider windows. I don't know if you could see that when you drive by, but they are wider windows, so, I'm not trying to match the existing there.
Okay. And then on the left side elevation, are all those windows new? They look like they're all 6 over 6s like that.
They are all new, they are all 6 over 6s except for the,
The round one?
No.
Okay.
Porthole.
actually kind of, it's the shower.
Oh, no kidding.
It's kind of a,
That's
well,
cool.
it's a great way to get introduce natural light into a shower.
yeah,
Are you thinking down the road that you might change the existing windows to also, okay. Any other questions or comments from the committee? Any questions or comments from abutters or other interests? Yes, would you come up to the podium, please?
No, I don't need to turn this on. My name is,
May I ask where you live, ma'am?
my name is Karen Stoyer. I am at 308 Route 6A, so I am directly across from the property under discussion. I'd like to note that although you have me listed as an abutter on the paperwork, I received no notice of this hearing or of the application. So I don't know what that issue is, but I'd just appreciate noting that for the record so we could perhaps correct that in the future. The property, as you just noted, Ashley, about it being high up, the property at 309, it's built on an extremely steep slope. And erosion and runoff have been controlled, I believe and others believe, with what is a fairly dense planting of trees, shrubs, and ground cover. However, the property owners have been steadily removing many of the large trees and shrubs as well as a fair amount of the ground cover. And I actually have expressed concern in the past to Mr. Fulton at one point regarding erosion at this property. If this addition to the house and the porch are permitted, I would like to see written assurance that there are drainage control measures in place to address erosion and runoff during construction and after completion. We have had some new flooding incidents along 6A, growing flooding incidents along 6A during heavy rains, and runoff from the road is of growing concern on the north side. I appreciate that may not be within the purview of this committee, but I think it's worth mentioning. While it may not be, the control of vegetation may not be directly within the committee's jurisdiction as it relates to erosion, I would note that the committee's webpage on landscaping and forest management states that in the context of preserving setting, the committee has a responsibility to ensure that trees are preserved where possible and that new vegetation is planted to enhance new construction. So I would appreciate the committee taking this into consideration, making relevant recommendations when reviewing this application. And if you believe it is appropriate, perhaps the committee could forward or let me know how to approach my concerns regarding the drainage control measures to the building official. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We can ask for a landscape plan. But that's about it for us. If you guys could consider maybe a little plateau directly in front of the house with shrubbery,
So,
Around the house.
I think that might address,
d-
that address,
Well, it's not part of the application.
no, it's not part of the
That's-
application, but we don't have a landscape plan.
Yeah. So, we're the first stop, and after us, the other departments get involved, building, conservation, all of that. So there are plenty of protections down the road insofar as the runoff is concerned. And you're correct in stating that doesn't fall within our purview. And a landscape plan was not presented as part of this application, so we are only sitting here judging on the proposed additions. I don't know what beyond that we can do. You've heard the concerns, and I'm sure that the homeowners are also interested in and concerned with runoff and their privacy, although they have a considerable amount of privacy predicated on the setting of the house. But I thank you for your comments, ma'am. Are any other, yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Michael Keno. My wife and I own and live year-round at 303 Route 6A, to the immediate west of the property under discussion. We agree with Karen's assessment about the devegetation and tree removal on the property and the potential for additional runoff owing to the decreased vegetation. For illustration purposes, we do have before and after photos that we may submit to you or show you now. Tree and shrub removal without any comparable replacement will lead to increased runoff. Consulting engineers use the rational method known as Q equals CIA, where the volume of runoff is determined by 3 variables: coefficient of runoff, which is increased by devegetation and this new structure, rainfall intensity, and surface area. We would encourage the committee or the appropriate regulatory entity to insist on a landscaping plan that mitigates the likely additional runoff. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Once again, I'm not sure that we can mandate that they come before us with a landscape plan.
I don't think so. I think that, again, we're the wrong department.
I'm sorry. Could you?
I don't think we can, I think we're the wrong department for the runoff concern. But we hear you, but we're not in charge
There
of
are
clearing
two
trees.
issues here. There's the practical issue of runoff, and that can be taken care of by other boards. And then there's the aesthetic concern about visibility of the property, and,
Preservation of visual.
yeah. That would fall within our purview, but it wasn't part of this application. So,
I don't see anything being presented to us that they're changing in terms of that.
To be honest with you,
Right.
I think we've done a phenomenal job of taking existing, I can't talk?
No, she wants to talk, we're just,
Go ahead, let her talk first then.
yeah, if there's other abutters or other interested members of the public are welcome to talk.
they want to show us the before and after pictures of
Oh.
the clearing that they are already concerned about. That's what she's trying to introduce.
Please. Yeah, just one copy of these?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're enlarged, and here's another before and the after. And you can keep those. Thank you.
Are you done now? I don't mean to rush you. Before and after. They're not the same,
Well,
though. I'm having a hard time
Can I ask you a
assessing.
question?
Yes,
We see the pictures too.
sure, absolutely.
They're different.
Can I step forward or?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Let the chairman tell you what you can do.
So they're
wants
not
to
from the
come up.
same,
You're welcome to see the
where's
Okay, so
this?
this is.
Whoops.
Everybody does that.
No one's knocked my
That's
center
part
before,
of the-
thank you.
That's part of the fun.
Actually, this is just from here.
But
The
see,
fence is
I don't
down.
see the fence.
The
Oh, the
fence
fence
is
has been
down,
taken
yeah.
down? I see,
This is
okay,
without the fence.
okay,
The fence was taken down. yeah.
okay.
So this is,
So these trees were taken down.
No, there's, well, I don't know, there's trees here, it's hard to know which is which.
Yeah, this
yeah,
isn't
what
all-
we're
And where's
concerned about is
this?
all the, I mean, from here, from this picture,
Yep.
okay, you can't see you can hardly see the house.
Mhm.
And here, the house is very visible.
Okay,
And we're concerned that it impacts our privacy.
impacts your
It's very thin.
privacy.
Yeah, yeah, and then of course,
Okay.
the
Well-
increasing,
And are you at 303?
Yes, I'm with him.
All right, well, I'm going to, let me weigh in on the privacy issue.
As well as the runoff issue, I mean, it's.
That's, okay, the practical issues, not within our purview. I've said that now, that's the third time I'm going to say that. The privacy issue, unfortunately, you're not entitled to your view. If you are concerned that that house is more visible to you, there's really nothing that we can or frankly should do about that. Yes? Go ahead. You have to talk at the podium, please. This is a public meeting, so your comments need to be public.
Okay, I guess
And
what.
tell us your name again, please.
Susan, and the last name is Keno.
And you,
I
and you live where?
303, right next door.
Okay.
And I guess what my feeling is that these pictures relate to the deforestation of the property, which has to do with setting under the Old Kings Highway. under the landscaping provision.
Could I, have the abutters spoken with the applicant privately and tried to voice their concerns to you? No?
No.
So
Okay.
looking at
Well,
those photos, I have to say, I don't see any erosion. I don't see any evidence of erosion. I don't see any gullies running down through the new 2023 photos. It looks like it's been re-landscaped with some plantings. There's some ground cover or mulch, and there's grass up above. I don't see erosion coming down that hill anywhere.
They're, just so I'm clear, they're on the right side of the driveway. I'm putting the addition on the left side and the back of the driveway. This is not our first rodeo. We know how to build an addition and control runoff. I won't disturb anything on the right side of the driveway. When I'm done, everything will be landscaped so it'll complement the addition that we're putting on these people's house. I don't know why we're arguing about, with all due respect, about trees on the right side of the property and privacy, because they have nothing to do with the application I've presented tonight to take a house that does not fit in with the guidelines of historic, and I'm giving you something that is a lot more presentable.
Agree.
And I think all the neighbors should be patting me on the back instead of arguing with me, quite honestly. But I'll take the beating if you want. I'd like you to consider my application as submitted, please.
I agree.
I agree.
I think some of the stuff, the 2019 to 2023 photos before and after are totally irrelevant to the discussion tonight about the addition.
They're relevant
I
to
will
you.
reinforce what Mr. Stewart said. I think it's regrettable that this conversation only, as far as was stated by the applicant, is only happening tonight. Why? Do you want to speak, ma'am?
It's their thing. I can let them.
Okay,
but that's
please,
not-
let's hear it all. Let's hear it all.
This rapidly degenerated into something divisive and doesn't need to be. And I would note that I at least appreciate the design of the new addition. I think I see that house directly. It's directly across from me. The new addition will be directly across from my driveway. So I have an interest in what goes up there, and I appreciate the new design. I think it's a big improvement on what's there at the moment. So I'm not contesting that in any way. My concern, as you have explained, needs to go to another committee, and I appreciate that now, but thought it might be relevant to the siting issue and the overall approval that you will give here tonight. But if you're telling me to go before conservation and the building committees, I will most
Good.
happily
So
do that.
I think we've come to an agreement on this, and let's end this.
Just want to note, because you raised it, that there's been no discussion with the abutters, because the proponents, I didn't even know this was going up. Nobody walked across the street and said to me, here's what we're doing. And nobody walked across the driveway and said, here's what we're doing. So I appreciate there needs to be more conversation, but
So
you know.
you didn't bake your new neighbors a pie? and welcome them to the neighborhood.
All right.
Thank
Is it like the rest of six, everyone peers out from behind their curtains and then comes before us and complains.
if I may, let's end this on a high note.
Okay.
So I'm ready to entertain a
I
motion.
move to approve this application as presented.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, this is 23-A115I.
And aye. Okay, so if you would sign this document, and as you've heard me say earlier, with respect to other applications tonight, if you're going to make any changes, please let us know. Otherwise, good luck with your project, and let's all hope for the best.
I think I know what to get them for Christmas. A tree.
So,
We have some coming.
Trees. Maybe they want a little more light so they can grow some other plants aside from shade plants, right?
no, that's fine. Thank you.
Do I get a copy of that from Lisa?
Lisa?
You email me a copy of this?
Yes, I will tomorrow.
Thank you. Good night. Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in, neighbors.
Yes.
Yes.
Start the conversation.
application? Are they new?
All relative.
The next item on the agenda is 23-A116 to replace 7 windows at 10 Concomsit Circle. Margaret Falbo is the owner, and Christopher Weeks is the agent.
Like Margaret.
Hello.
I don't think you're Margaret.
So,
Chris
good evening.
Weeks, owner operator, Weeks on the Cape Remodeling.
Tell us about your application.
Just doing a bay window, replacing a bay window like for size. Changing the grow padding from 42 grids in the middle window there to 24. And changing the grow pattern on the flankers from 9/1 to 4/1.
So then, on the rear windows, are you replacing these jalousie windows? Is that what you're replacing? And you're putting in just regular double-hung windows instead?
They're called gliding windows, they're
Gliding
side by
windows.
sides.
Okay. What's this? So they're more casements?
They're not casements, they're sliding windows, so like a miniature slider.
Oh,
But,
okay. And how
they have
many
a-
are going in replace of those?
Every one of them's gonna replace, so there's,
How many are going to be across the back?
3? Set of 3?
How many sets of sliding windows are replacing those?
there's a total of 7 in the back. There's 3 on the back, there's 2 on the side, and then there's 2 on the other side.
Okay.
Again, those are like for like size as well,
So the same opening is what you're saying?
correct.
And are those also 6/1?
They're, I believe they're 6 by 6.
6 by 6, yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you. Looks good to me. Jalousie windows are,
Oh, I see, they're
Definitely,
over here, too. Okay. Okay.
definitely an improvement for historical.
absolutely.
From every side improvement, unless you're in Jamaica, which we're not.
Any other questions or comments from the committee?
So it's the same bay, going to become, you're replacing the bay with a bay?
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
Same projection, same everything.
So they're Anderson wood windows that you're putting in with true,
Anderson wood with, it's an Anderson wood frame with vinyl clad inserts, a vinyl,
And the-
solid vinyl
and the
inserts.
grids are going to be GBG between the glass? So will there be anything on the outside?
Correct.
There'll be anything on the outside?
No.
And that's in the rear of the house, right?
The bay windows at the front.
The bay's in the front.
$1982. So it's probably not real grids anyways. Okay.
Any other questions or comments from the committee? Any questions or comments from abutters or other interested members of the public? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve 23-A116, replace windows.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded, and all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And aye. Congratulations. And if you would just come up and sign this document, as you've heard me say, it only pertains if you want to make changes, that you will let us know. Right there, sir. Thank you. Good luck with it. Okay. The next item on the agenda is 23-A117 to install a house sign at 80 Mayflower Terrace. Mark Simmons is the owner.
And that is I, Mark Simons. Nice to meet you guys.
Hi.
Right. Tell us about your sign application.
Just wanted to put a little sign in front of our new home. Didn't really realize we're in the historic district, to be honest with you. Didn't know that went to 6. I thought that was mostly 6A. So we're looking to do a little sign in the front, just naming the house. And the next on the agenda also was the 2 sections of fence, which is the same address.
Okay. We'll deal with them separately, if that's okay with you, since that's the way that they are presented.
So I'm a little unclear where you want to put the sign.
There's a little area that we landscaped in the front. We call it a half moon area.
The garden bed?
Yeah, it's basically right against the road, so we just wanted to put the sign. There's, I don't know if anyone drove by it, but there's 2 grass mounds, so we kind of put those there and said, okay, the sign will be
In
perfect.
between them? So
Right
you're
between these little
Between
mounds.
2 posts? So
2
mount it
posts,
between
yep.
2 posts?
Yep,
Low, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
What are the dimensions?
4 inches by 36.
And how far off the ground do you think?
I think it probably only ends up maybe 3-4 feet, maybe tops. You know, I don't want it
In with the landscaping.
in with the landscaping. As the landscaping kind of grows in, it's all brand new right now. Almost be hard to see, but
And what about the setback from the street?
about 7 feet. I think the minimum was 6 when I read it, the regulations.
Okay.
So I think we put the grass ones, the grass mounds there are about 8 feet, so.
It's a nice sign. I noticed your little anchors on your
Yeah.
shutters.
Yeah, yeah, oh, thanks.
Curious about the, well, never mind, I'll get to that later.
Works for me.
Looks very Mayflower Terrace to me.
All right.
Looks very anchors away to me.
Any other comments or questions from the committee? None? Any questions or comments from abutters or other interested members of the public? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve 23-A117, the sign at Mayflower Terrace.
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I,
And aye. Congratulations. And as you have heard, if you'll sign this document, basically says you want to make the sign 5 feet long and 8 feet tall. No. So,
Saw that part of my application.
invisible ink.
good, all right. And we'll move on to your next application very soon. By which I mean right now. So, the next application is 23-A118 to install 2 fence sections at 80 Mayflower Terrace. Mark Simmons is the owner, and Mark, tell us about your fence sections.
Just wanted to get permission for the 2 sections of fence, 6 feet tall, perpendicular to the front of the house. Just to hide what's back there, which is trash cans, gas meter, vents. That side of the house, newer house, built in '21, it has a lot of gas piping and stuff on that one corner of it. So just wanted to keep it hidden.
Thought you could maybe put an outdoor shower there.
I want to. Not there, though, actually.
It's already up, I noticed.
It is. We did one section, then I realized we should have asked you guys, because I looked online, I didn't need a building permit for it. Didn't, again, realize it was historical, a historical possible issue. So I put one up, and then the sprinkler system was going in. The sprinkler guy got upset because the other section fence wasn't up. I said, well, I already put one up. Guess it doesn't matter now if I put the other one up, so I put the other one up.
So how'd you learn that you need to come before the historic?
My neighbor, who had a fence, and he's like, hey, you gotta make, how did it go when you went before the historic district? And I said, great.
No problem.
It was awesome. Of which then I came down and talked to this nice lady here and said, hey, I think I need to talk to someone about a fence.
So this is an extension of an existing, correct?
Will be.
Existing fence?
No, it's
Well,
new.
the picture shows a fence leaning against a fence.
Right, well, that's the one section I had put up,
That's what I
and I
asked.
realized that I had to, yes, it's an extension of an
Okay.
existing fence.
All right.
So you said 16 foot, it's 2 8-foot panels, a total 16, right?
Correct, yeah, 6 feet tall.
Any questions or comments from the committee?
No, it's fine.
I move to approve
wait.
application, what, I'm sorry.
I have to ask if there's any
Oh, I'm
questions or
so sorry.
comments from abutters or other interested members of the public. Hearing none.
I'm
I will
sorry.
entertain a motion.
Now you can do it.
Premature. I move to approve application 23-A118 to install 2 sections of fence at 80 Mayflower Terrace.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And aye. Congratulations. And if you'll just sign this one, which is very much like the last one, you're free to go. And good luck with your project.
I want to thank you for coming down.
Yes.
My pleasure. We'll see you a few more times over the next.
Good.
Okay.
When you built your house, did you put an application in with Old Kings Highway to build the house initially?
No, we just bought the house 2 months ago.
Oh, so it was already
Yeah,
built.
closed- Well,
Got it.
oh,
Okay.
almost 3 months now.
So you didn't build it, it was
No.
built. Got it.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Good night.
Oops, sorry.
That's all right.
Did you want to untable the tabled one before we?
As soon as we get
do
this
the-
signed?
Before we do the.
You're, I think, you're eager to go?
No, no, I was just curious.
Got a hot date.
I don't have
Night.
a date, I was just curious what order you're going in, that's all. Trying to be prepared.
Okay.
Mayflower Terraces,
Oh, I forgot to talk about the rope fence, so well.
always
What's
a
that?
You
problem.
notice the rope fence he had there?
Wicked.
I didn't.
Fun. He's probably the prior owner.
Fence.
Okay. The last item on the agenda is for an informal review. 23-A109, to construct a new single-family dwelling at 51 Dartmoor Way. Moji and Gail Amini are the owners. LaPlante Construction is the agent. Looks like we have Mr. LaPlante online. So,
Can the committee hear me okay?
Yep.
so it looks like you've made some constructive changes here.
Yes, so, again, Bill LaPlante, owner of LaPlante Construction, agent for Moji and Gail Amini, 51 Dartmoor Way.
Yep.
As you know, we submitted a plan for approval last meeting, and there were numerous concerns and suggestions by the committee. So I took your suggestions and went back to the designer that the Aminis had hired. And together, we came up with what I believe is a more traditional look for the neighborhood. To highlight some of the changes that we made, we eliminated the 2 separate shed-style dormers above the front entry and replaced that with a Nantucket-style dormer that's centered over the front entry and above the front porch. We eliminated the metal roofs on the front. We eliminated the double gables on the front of the garage and on the front of the master suite. We eliminated the roof overhangs and went with more traditional returns. We took a comprehensive look at the window arrangement and, tried to make the windows more uniform. And we also altered the size of the porch columns. We put a half column against the wall, which is what we typically would have would have constructed anyway. We eliminated the extension over the garage doors, and upon your recommendation, the plan is to put a pergola above the garage doors, about 24 inches in length. We also changed the front door to a more traditional front door. The exterior, we changed the window arrangements. And again, we don't have all of the details for the submittals, which we will have very shortly. My main goal was to just get a reaction from the committee with the work we've done so far, and to see if there were any other concerns or suggestions before we prepare our final submittal for the public review.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I'm open
All right.
to answer any questions.
Well, I appreciate the extent of the work you've gone through, and I've also talked with our vice chairman, who is an architect and who had raised a great many of the concerns over the previous, about the previous design, and he has told me, I think it's safe to, I can paraphrase his opinion as to that you've made great strides. And so I think, I don't know if I can speak for every member of the committee, but speaking for myself, I appreciate the effort, and I think we're on the right road, and I think you are likely to meet with success when you present this in its final form. So thank you, and I hope you're happy and the homeowners are happy.
Okay, I really appreciate the feedback. I thank you for, granting us this informal meeting. I just wanted to make sure that we were on the right track. We certainly will submit, again, all of the roof colors and the details with the windows and the doors and colors and siding. And again, we appreciate your time and your feedback.
Okay. Do any other members of the committee have any comments or questions regarding the current design?
I like it.
I would like to say that it's much improved, Bill. Good job.
Thank you.
Good for me.
It is, I really appreciate what you've done on the garage.
Yeah, that's what I
If
remember.
more people would enter from the side, as you have drawn here, it would be a lot nicer looking neighborhood. I have a question on your chimney. Is this the stonework? Is that
Real?
sawn stone or facing?
It will be a
fiberglass
natural, yeah, it will be a natural fieldstone fireplace that, again, we'll have that in our submittal.
Okay.
But it is going to be a real stone fireplace.
So it's not a veneer?
Well, it's a 1.5, 2 inch thick
Small rocks.
cut stone veneer. It's true real stone.
Yeah.
It's not a full thickness 6
Right.
inch stone.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Looks great.
Any other questions or comments from the committee? Okay, well, thank you, Bill. Look forward to seeing the final application, and I think you can judge the tenor of this committee that we are looking upon this favorably.
Okay, again, I appreciate your time and I appreciate the feedback.
All right. Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you.
And
Good
Bill,
night.
please tell the owners that we really appreciate their flexibility.
I certainly will. Thank you. They wish they could have been here. They're up in the country. And but they too appreciate your time and your feedback.
Okay. All right, so we have a tabled application that we need to untable.
Move. Ready?
so,
Move to
that was 11 Ironwood Court. Do I have a motion to untable 11 Ironwood Court at this point?
Move to untable 23-A114, Ironwood Court.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of untabling that application?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, now,
Anyone here?
are the owners or the agent now present?
No.
It would appear not. So, we need a motion to table it until the next meeting.
I met, is that when I drove by, I talked with the owner. This is a lease, another lease. She's, I don't think, unless we asked them to come, they were prepared to come, and she wasn't prepared to come. I happen to know that she recently lost her husband.
Oh, okay.
And so I know in the past, we have reviewed some of these without a representative, if we felt like it was something that we could pass judgment on. I would, on her behalf, might ask that we look this over.
Well, first of all, my condolences to her. I'm not prepared to approve this application without hearing the application at this juncture.
Oh. So she has to come in?
To me, it's not a slam dunk.
No, I agree.
Okay.
So, having said that, do I hear a motion to table the application to the next meeting or to whenever the homeowner and/or her agent is prepared to present it to us?
I'll make a motion to table.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, now, we need to approve the minutes of the September 11th meeting. Is there a motion regarding that?
Approve the minutes of the September 11th, 2023 meeting of the Old Kings Highway District Committee of Yarmouth.
Is there a second?
I can second.
I wasn't here for that one.
Okay, so all in favor of approving the motion, the
Aye.
minutes?
Aye.
And aye. Okay, other business. We were overturned on our decision to approve the demolition permit for 33 Summer Street. We were overturned strictly on procedural grounds.
Oh.
In that the public, on the advice of our lawyer, Jim Wilson, who was asked to weigh in at the hearing, did not receive proper notice, and they are entitled to that. And therefore, for that reason specifically, our decision was overturned. I will add that none of the chairs of the other town committees believed that the L was worthy of preserving. So it was a very strict decision, and it was based strictly on procedural grounds.
So my question was, who wasn't notified? Was that from our beginning hearing?
It had to do with the fact that the application as presented that night was radically different from what the abutters and the public were aware of. In other words, the application was for the removal of the top section of the L.
Okay.
And actually, Liz, you were the one who asked for clarification.
Yeah.
So this was a lesson to me as chairman. In the future, if I judged, this happens very frequently at our meetings, as most of you will probably all remember. There are sometimes minor adjustments that are requested. We want to move this window, we want to change, the grill pattern or something, and we've, gone by the seat of our pants and heard the application anyway. In this case, it was a 4-to-1 vote. There was one committee chair who felt that it was inconsequential, but the others thought that it wasn't, that it was a substantial change from what the application stated and that the public was aware of, and for that reason, it shouldn't stand. So they will come back before us with a new application. I think we will we will waive the new application fee. So there'll be a delay, and I won't predict what the outcome will be, but I think you can all guess.
So how are the applicants notified of the results of the appeal? They've already been notified of that? And what's the process?
Of the fact that
been
that it
overturned.
was, only the appellants know, because they were at the hearing. In other words, the direct abutters were both at the hearing.
Was the applicant at the hearing?
Yes.
So they are aware? Yes, the applicant was at the hearing, so they're aware that the.
Oh, yeah, they're very, yes.
thank you.
It's like a court proceeding.
Okay, thank you.
You know, the appellant is entitled to present their case, and then the applicant is entitled to present the counter case, and it goes back and forth. And I, as chair of the Yarmouth Committee, present our case for the committee, and, but I'm not entitled to vote. So, in a nutshell, that's how it works.
So, I understand how the meetings go, but what, I don't understand how it came up. It shouldn't have been considered or even spoken to that total demolition would be okay with the rest of these people who are on the board, the chairman. That came up?
I'm not understanding the question.
Okay, you said that none of the people, none of the chairmen felt that the whole building had any historical significance.
In essence, that's correct, yes.
That shouldn't have come up at the meeting.
That they felt that way?
Yeah. That's not what the meeting was for.
True. It kind of was, because they were deciding whether or not we should have approved the demolition. So whether or not it was historically significant weighs into that. That's not.
Yeah,
what
I
the
think they
case
were
was
trying to,
decision on,
I
but
think
it
they were
comes
trying to
into it.
present a balanced judgment.
Okay.
And to weigh, and as I said, one of the chairs of one of the Sandwich Committee chair specifically, who's a lawyer, said, and he used some legal term that I cannot remember anymore. But in essence, it said, however you want to put it, in a colloquial way, it amounted to a hill of beans. It's, you know, why are we even arguing this? It's not worth anything, why are we even arguing this? But he was outvoted by the other chairs, a couple of whom were very, very concerned about the procedural mistake.
That was a serious mistake. I agree.
Yeah.
So not so much the merit of the historical.
No.
Just the procedures.
In the judgment of 4 of the 5 voting members, the merit of our decision was overwhelmed by the procedural problem of our having heard it without, in other words, in retrospect, if I had to do it over again, I would have nipped it in the bud at the beginning and said, this is
not what you applied for.
This is not a minor adjustment to the application. This is a major change to the application. The public hasn't been informed, and therefore, we cannot hear this tonight. And believe me, I will be mindful of that in the future. I'm not going to make that mistake twice. So anyway, mea culpa. But, and that's all I have for tonight. So, would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
No, go ahead. What's going on with enforcement? It seems that was something that was, you guys were talking about.
With what now?
Enforcement.
Enforcement of our decisions.
Well, I noticed that some of the sandwich board signs are down.
So had
and
that
the-
been
The
reported
one
to
in
someone?
front of the Golden Jalapeno has been removed.
And the neon across the street's gone.
Yes.
Did someone report that to
Well,
building?
I don't know exactly how that works, but
Well,
they're
the one
not,
at
well,
Chapter House is
maybe
still
Lisa
there. I know the
has
one at
some,
I saw the
some light
Chapter
to
House
shed
one
on
today.
that. I don't know.
What was across the street? I don't,
Oh, at the bakery.
oh,
Hey, sailor.
Hey Sailor, yeah.
Oh, that one came down?
Yeah.
Evidently. I never noticed it in the first place.
I thought it
So-
was
I thought
adorable.
it was cute.
Ugh, and there you have it. There is-
Enjoy it in your memory, because this apparently is not there anymore.
That was,
She could move it inside as long as it's not
was
visible.
inside.
But it was right in the window.
but
She
it
could
in
move
the
it on the
window.
inside wall where it's not visible through the window, so she could still have it in there.
I,
as a temp-
you know, I come home from work at night and there are people in my driveway waiting for me to complain about these things.
Oh.
Yeah,
Really?
And that's, yeah,
Wow.
oh, yeah.
There's
This is all the
enforcement
time. I
for
can't
you.
go out my front, I refuse to go on my front lawn anymore.
Wow.
There you go. Well, that answers the
Do you give them
question.
directions to town hall?
No, I sent them to Lisa.
They come find me.
That's
Yeah, they do.
interesting.
Is that true?
Oh, yeah.
So the
Okay.
golden jalapeno sandwich board is down?
Well, anyway, somehow, one way or the other, there seems to be progress being made on that.
What about
On
the
that,
little
okay.
store, the market?
But there's other things.
Well,
I mean,
Rome wasn't built in a day. I guess we have
It's
to
a good
keep
start.
plugging away at it.
That was gonna be my question, was about the signs. I'm glad that we,
there are more signs up in
Direction
the
on that.
village store too, around the posts now. It's all signage,
Well, our work is never done.
apparently.
I got my text about the Enlightenment temporary.
I
sign.
did, yeah, apparently that's a temporary sign. I don't know what that means.
It's going to be up a month, and they went through the town, whatever that means. They
Which
didn't.
sign is this?
Oh,
in
the
front
big
of Thatcher
enlighten,
Hall,
the
there's
big
a big sign that
enlighten
says
sign in front
Enlightenment
of
on the front lawn.
Thatcher Hall.
Like mounted on two posts.
It's right on the lawn. You can't miss it.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
seen it.
It's prominent. All right, and have we had enough fun, ladies, gentlemen?
Move to adjourn.
Okay, do I hear a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I.
Aye, and we are adjourned.
Thank you.